You went head on with a dragon.
So are you. My friend. My companion. I adore you. Careful! Hot! I never gave up. I did my best. I did my best. It's the one thing I can't beat, isn't it? I wanted to live in my city with my friends. But life is for the living. And I saw... Goodbye, son. Goodbye, sea. Goodbye.
No, stop. I won't allow this. Karlak, you're coming with me. Back to Avernus. We can't let her die. Not like this. Not now.
You can't.
Go, Karlak. Will be with you. You won't be alone anymore. It's your decision, Karlak. You have to choose. Will go with you. Zariel won't be able to touch you. Enough, Karlak. The three of us will make a new life in Avernus together. Not gonna happen. I chose Shadowheart. Will, you've done enough. It should be me who goes with Karlak. You can live. You can still love Karlak. We'll do it together. What do you say? Karlak's made her choice. Did I say right here? No, I didn't. By the way, I'm gonna do what I almost always do when the game lets the character decide. It's your decision, Karlak. You have to choose. Will go with you. Zariel won't be able to touch you. The game's basically saying, hey, let the character decide if she wants to die or go team with Will in Avernus. If she chooses to die, I'm reloading the save and choosing go, Karlak. Will be with you. You will not be alone.
So, what do you say? Die here now, or live on with people who love you? Zariel won't touch you. I swear it, Karlak.
All right. All right. We have to go. Now. I can't hang on much longer.
Thank the gods you've seen sense. Come, to Avernus we go. Our next adventure awaits.
So that's 3 party members gone. Starion, because, sunlight. And Will and Karlak had to go to Avernus. Which leaves Gale, Shadowheart, Jaheira, Mensk, Halson.
It's over. And it's all because of you.
Honestly, that's unfortunate for me because I don't like Halson.
You were destined to become
I don't hate him, just don't like him.
Thanks to you, there will be no Epilogue Empire, no Death God's tyranny.
That beard, bro.
You have earned your place amongst the legends of the Sword Coast. You are the saviors of Baldur's Gate.
I was afraid for the briefest moment when I woke this morning. I didn't know where I was. I thought perhaps it had all been a dream, stopping the Absolute, saving my parents. Then I realized I was in your arms. We did it. Everything's perfect. Almost, anyway.
What do you mean? You cried out in your sleep once. Almost. I can give it another. I can give it another try if you like. Almost anyway. I don't know. My brain's like, what if I say something stupid? Humorous, observational, clueless. I tend to be
After
clueless.
everything that happened with my parents, with Shah, I didn't think I was owed any happiness. I did things that fill me with shame now. There's at least one person who doesn't want me happy. Shah. I felt the wound last night while you were meditating. Like some sadistic child de-winging a fly. She can try to twist the knife all she likes. I know I can survive her worst. Nothing she does can sour the fact that I have my family again.
What does that mean? Bro, you're canonically dating. Everybody knows you're dating. I don't understand. We had a connection, you and I. Like, they never officially started. Like, is that a glitch or something? I don't understand that. So yeah, I said the right thing there. That's fine. But out of curiosity, I'm saving here because I want to click on this and see what happens because it bothers me. But I want to click the first one as like my official choice.
You're right. I can always rely on you to say the right thing. It's not an exciting life that I lead, but I'd like you to be a part of it. I doubt I'd have anything at all if it wasn't for you. Good. Then seek me out when you have time. I'm hoping to find some place I can settle down and stay close to my parents. Somewhere quiet, where they can find peace and gaze at the night sky. I'll keep a spot for you. It'll be just like old times.
I still don't understand that option.
Well, soldier, here we are. It worked. My engines calmed down.
Okay.
I shouldn't have let you come here. This isn't going to be easy, you know. Zara's going to come at us with everything she's got.
You do realize that's his, like, that's what he wants, right? He's the Blade of Avernus now, not the Blade of the Frontiers.
Gods, like clockwork. They'll be on us soon, but there's just enough time.
I like this song, dude. Oh, this is so good.
Thought I was done with these.
Just when I thought Karlak couldn't get any more badass, dude.
But then, there was you.
Why does it do this? Why do I have to press X? Will, you gonna indulge?
Imps are fast, but careless. Don't let them tire you out. Just get rid of them. And don't forget, you asked for this. Better let these fuckers know I'm back. And this time, I'm not alone.
I still love that cape. That is a cool ass scene. You know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of one of the scenes in the Upside Down from Stranger Things in the last season. But I think it's like the one where they come up from like the lake, where they go in through the Upside Down through the lake. That's what that reminded me of. Oh, is it just another one of those? We're gonna press X. Is that how it actually ends? All's well that ends well. Wow. Dude, that game was long. I feel like Act 3 has like as much content as Act 1 and 2 put together almost, even though I know that's not true. Act 1 and 2 combined are probably still longer than Act 3. Act 3, I just feel like I spent the most time in Act 3 because it was the end game, and you know that's usually the point of the game when if you love it enough, you just don't want it to end. And this is one of those games. You just don't want it to end. You want to see more. Like, I want to see more of the aftermath, you know? Like, sure, they tidied you up with Will and Karlak and Avernus. The conversation between you and Shadowheart, where, like, her intentions is to find somewhere remote. Not living with her parents, but living really close to her parents. Almost like they're neighbors of some sort. You know that Gale's intention is to get the crown of Convernus to Mystra, but you don't see the conclusion of that, which I wish I did. Who knows? Maybe I'll just look up all the endings, or like, not all the endings. There's like way too many, but you know, like look up a ending compilation later to see if any of those are answered, because I know things can differ depending on romancing and whatnot, because obviously I romanced Shadowheart. It was always my intention to romance Shadowheart. She's, quite frankly, out of this entire cast, the only one that's like the closest to my type, both personality wise and physically. Lizelle never had a chance. She died. I turned her down before she died too. That's what's really bad. It was my fault. It was my fault all along. No, yeah, I guess we should talk about that after I finish my thoughts here. But yeah, I wish I got to see more, like, after, like, obviously we got Will and Karlak and Avernus, so that was a really cool scene with a really awesome song playing in the background. Like I said, I wish we got to see a conclusion to Gale's, but his ends kind of on a cliffhanger of sorts. Jaheira and Minx, they don't really have like a conclusion, them being part of the party's conclusion enough. Obviously Baldur and the Mind Flayer going his separate ways. Where he goes, who knows, but who really cares? Astarion, you know, he's obviously in mine, he stayed like a normal vampire, you know, he didn't ascend, so yeah, sunlight, so we don't get to see like his aftermath, what he's doing, what his plans are, how he handles it, or is handling that. Jaheira just mentioned that'll be the last time we see that face basking in the sun. I'm trying to like Halson. I just don't care. You know, his story kind of ended at the end of Act 2, right? Really, the only conclusion you can have with Halson is like sort of like a scene, I guess, with Thaniel and what was it, Daniel? I'm trying to think of the other one's name. I just remember Thaniel was the one he really wanted, but then you had Daniel as well. Pretty sure was his name. Like that's the only closest thing I can have is like that him going back to meet them again. Otherwise, like yeah, his actual story kind of ends in Act 2. Lizelle, I can't speak to Lizelle. She died 10 hours into my game, dude. 10 hours into my game, she died. And that's just, I still, that was not my fault. That was not my fault at all. She ran off and left my party as I paused the game to end for the night. Like I pressed pause, I pressed home, came back to a day later, opened the application, unpaused, and noticed she wasn't in my party. And I was like, where is she? So I started looking around. I went to camp. I went back. Did I forget her at the place? Then I think I went and I did something, and then I went back and I saw her corpse eventually after dying to that group of Githyanki 2 or 3 times. And then I was like, I'll come back for her later. Left a marker on the map, came back to her, found her, tried, you know, doing a Skull of Resurrection, and yeah, nope. That didn't work. And then I looked it up and it was like, yeah, that was like one of those moments where she dies, she's dead, because, you know, the game says you abandoned her, right? Even though I technically didn't abandon her, I just didn't, you know, I just stopped playing the game at the very wrong time and didn't realize she ran off. But she is the very first companion you run into and get, and then it's Shadowheart. And then from there you run into all the other people once you're out for the ship. But yeah, like Lizelle, I will say, as a character that I knew for 10 hours, she's a really well done character. Her design is really amazing. I like her blunt kind of fierceness. I'm sure she's got some frustrating moments in the game, especially when you go to like the Githyanki hideout in the mountain pass. I'm sure she's fun there. I would say she's a solid 8 out of 10, you know? Shadowheart for me is a 10 out of 10. She's my favorite character out of all the companions. And then you have Karlach, who's another 10 out of 10. Will and Gale are both, to me, I'd say Will's a 9.5 and a Gale's a 9 on my scale. Halson's a 6. I just don't care for him. Like, I like him, but I just don't care for him. I don't know. I'm thinking about bringing Lizelle down to a 7 out of 10, just for the 10 hours I knew her. I'm sure if I had her throughout the whole entire game, she might still be an 8 out of 10, but I only had her for 10 hours. She made an impression for sure, and I still feel bad that she had to die. And in hindsight, had I known this game was going to be 170 hours plus, I gotta think, because not all of my game time is just this one playthrough. At least almost 10 hours of it. I don't even say 10, like 6-7 hours of it are the one I'm doing with my brother-in-law, my sister, and their friend. But if I had known this game was going to be this long, I don't think I would have mind reloading a save that was an hour back. Because that's what it was. I was like, I don't want to go back an hour. Right? Just to save Lizelle. And it's like, in hindsight, yeah, no, I should have just ate the bullet and gone back at the hour. I really should have just gone back and saved her from doing that. I really should have, but I didn't, because I didn't think. I wasn't thinking with hindsight. Let's put it that way. I wasn't thinking with hindsight. But yeah, and then obviously Minthara's a person you can get as a companion. And as a character, like design-wise, next to Shadowheart, she's probably the most attractive. As a person, who knows? But, you know, Minthara's a really cool design. So I'll just give her a 7 out of 10. Maybe bump Lizelle up to a 7.5 because of that. And Halson's still saying at 6. He creeps me out. He gives me the heebie-jeebies. I am so glad Halson's the one that got kidnapped for me, because my sister told me it was Gale for her, and I was like, I would not have wanted Gale to have been kidnapped. Halson, I could care less about. I am so glad he's the one Orin kidnapped. Aside from moving on from Halson and Minthara, because I think Minthara is the only companion I did not get. Because I'm pretty sure if you side with Minthara and attack the Grove, obviously you can't get Halson. But I think other people leave your party too, like Karlach, I think, and maybe Will. I don't know. I know people leave your party if you choose the Absolutists and whatnot. But obviously that's like your main. Oh yeah, Astarion. Almost forgot about Astarion, which is quite funny because he's the one that everybody seems to love the most. I will say this. I love Astarion. I think he's really funny. I love his sass. One of my favorite moments of Astarion is that sticks out to me is the Dribbles moment. When I was Karlach and Dribbles was like, why don't you come up on stage? And as Karlach, you can throw Shadowheart or Astarion under the bus. I love both of their responses to it, but Astarion's was was better. Because Shadowheart just goes, are you sure you've really got a friend? Are you sure you've got a friend? Because you might want to check. Basically saying, hey, I'm rethinking our friendship because you're throwing me up there. And Astarion was like, you are fucking going to pay. You are going to fucking pay. Right? With a grin on his face, whispering it so nobody else hears it but you and Karlach. And I love it. I love it. That was one of my favorite moments. Astarion is a very sassy character, and I can understand why people love him to such degree, even if I do not love him to that same degree. He's definitely top 3. I would probably say my top 3 are Shadowheart, maybe Astarion as 2. I don't know. It's a tough call. It's either Karlach or Astarion as 2, and whoever's not 2 is 3. And then 4 is Jaheira, because I really like Jaheira. So if I had to give Astarion a rating, it'd have to be 9.5 actually. Because I gave both Gale and Will 9s, and Karlach was a 10. So Shadowheart. So yeah, it makes sense that Karlach's 2, Astarion. Yeah, Jaheira's a 9 as well. Minsk is an 8, right? Minsk, you're just not there long enough, but he's a really funny character. He's got the boo. I never used boo, but it is what it is. But I love Minsk as comedic relief and whatnot. A dumb brick house. And Jaheira's just layered. And she's a legacy character. And what I mean by legacy is that she's in Baldur's Gate 2. Maybe even the first one as well. Because I know the first 2 games are like really close to each other timeline-wise. And this game's like 100 years after that. And obviously she was doing some kind of ritual to stay alive. And Minsk got turned into stone. because Minsk is also a party member from the original game. Original games. I don't know if he's only in the second one or the first one. I never played them. I just know both Jaheira and Minsk are party members you can have in the original games. Granted, in those games, there's also a lot more companions you can have than in this one. So yeah, Jaheira's a 9, just like Galen will, and Minsk is an 8. I'm pretty sure the only companion I missed was Menthara, and then Zariel just died. Or Lizelle just died, Zariel. Having beat the game, what do I consider the toughest fight in this entire game? Off the top of my head, there are 3 that stand out. The Iron Throne, not specifically for being like enemy tough wise, but more so, I guess just to specify, the Iron Throne when Mazora tries to kill Raven Dude. Because if you keep Will in the pack, and then Mazora helps you save Duke Ravengard by like hastening him so he can get out of the submarine faster. So you don't have to like super protect him, whereas if Mazora does try to kill him, yeah, you got to protect him hardcore. I got so lucky with the globe of invulnerability there. It was a close one though, because I couldn't keep him in there for too long because there was only 3 turns left. And the reason why it sticks out so much is because of Featherweight Falson just standing in front of the ladder, preventing everybody from climbing the ladder on the very last turn, guaranteeing everybody dies and gets blown up. Because all my people were going before Featherweight, so therefore none of my people climbed the ladder until Featherweight Falson's turn. And then it was Featherweight Falson's turn, she gets up in the submarine, and everything blows up once the turn ends, officially. Oh yeah, they're invulnerable. You can't move them. So I tried shoving her out of the way, and yeah, nope, no go. Can't do it. So that's stupid. But yeah, that's why the Iron Throne one is so tough. It's just, if you want to do it and save Duke Ravengard, because obviously there's 2 main characters you can save in there: the Mind Flayer you meet in the Underdark and Duke Ravengard. Trying to get out of there with Duke Ravengard alive while Mazora's trying to kill him with exploding spiders, not fun. Really, really not fun. The other fight is when you go to the House of Grief and you confront the Shar leader. I always forget her name, but she's also in the original Baldur's Gate game. But you confront the Shar leader, and it's very overwhelming because she has so many people, and all of them attack more than once, or most of them attack more than once. Maybe I just did the fight really badly, or I was letting my emotions get the better of me in that fight. But that fight was super tough. It's one of the only fights where by the end of it, I just won by the skin of my teeth. The third one that I'm thinking about is the Merkel fight. Merkel. And probably to a lesser degree than the other ones, because Dame Aelin really carries you through that fight. Like, if I just had to fight him without Dame Aelin, like that dude, I would have struggled on that fight for at least an hour or more, because he was bone chilling everybody, preventing my people from healing. Like, I'm pretty sure Odd died in that fight, and I brought him back right as we won. So that fight was really tough. That fight was tougher than both Gortash. Oh my god, Momo. Really? That fight was tougher than both Orin and Gortash. Like, both Orin and Gortash had their annoyances and their challenges. Like, Orin had the, what is it? It's the booning thing. She gets the boon, where she's, like, unbeatable for 7 turns or whatever. Like, you have to hit her 7 times before she can take, like, normal damage. And I hate that. Like, I gotta hit her 7 times before she can take normal damage? That's just stupid. But not that stupid, because, you know, she only has 2 people fighting alongside her, and then everybody else you fight after Orin is already beaten. So it's not as annoying, but it is pretty annoying because they all turn invisible, and for some odd reason I can't get scene checks to save my life. There was actually a third fight aside from Merkel that I was trying to think of, because it wasn't Gortash. Gortash's was annoying if you go in unprepared. Right, I got overwhelmed in my first attempt with Gortash because I wasn't aware of all the traps, and I was unfamiliar with his hand spell and whatnot, and like the spirits lining the rooms. So my second attempt, I just destroyed as many traps as I could before engaging in the battle, and then drew him into the room that I thought I had destroyed all the traps in, but apparently there was one trap I didn't destroy on a wall to the right. That was annoying. But once I did that, his fight wasn't that hard. Like, it was still challenging, but it was more manageable once I destroyed most of his traps and then lured him into the room where there wasn't as many. The annoying part about that fight is destroying the what is it, the sheer things behind him. You really got to destroy that before you start the fight. And the way I did it was I used Will and an invisible potion, saved as I got there, and just attempted it until I destroyed both in one fell swoop, which took a while. And then somehow I was able to get him back to the rest of the party before the invisible potion ended, which I did by sheer luck. That took me a long time to do. I think it took me over an hour before I did that fight, and you saw what you saw on the recording. I will say, out of the 3, Kethric's Merkel fight, Gortash, and Orin, I think Orin's was the coolest to me, because she turned into that beast, and I thought the setting was the coolest. Gortash's was just in some posh room filled with traps. And Momo, put your claws back in, girl. And Merkel's was really cool as well. I think I was just way too annoyed about the bone chill thing to enjoy it as much. Whereas with Orin's, I wasn't bone chilled and I wasn't hindered in any healing way, so I wasn't as annoyed in the fight. I was just mostly annoyed that I couldn't hurt the skull that was giving her the boon. But yeah. What was the third fight I was thinking of? Because there was no fight in Act 1 that I thought was so tough that it made me want to pull my hair out. Right. There were a couple fights that were like somewhat challenging upon like first encountering it, but once you're good and you are kind of like prepared to take it on, it's not as bad. Oh no, yeah, there was that one fight. No, that's in Act 2. Never mind. I'm getting confused. I'm getting confused. Right. Because that was in Char's temple. I thought it was in Act 1, but it was not. I think the only fight I really remember struggling with in Act 1, like in one of the beginnings, was the Minthara fight, because I was just not prepared for her at level 3 when I first attempted to fight her. And I don't really think there was a fight in the Underdark I was too unprepared for or struggled with. There was the one with the guy that jumps out of the ground. He did knock Shadowheart off the cliff. That was unfortunate. I think that was like one of the first times I had to use the Skull of Revivify. But in Act 2, it definitely was that Shar thing, where there's like the troll with a bunch of goons. And that was the other one. That was the only other fight where, you know, like with Shadowheart in the Shar Temple, where she was the only one still standing, just barely. That was another one where it was just Will. It was the only one standing by the end of that fight, just barely. Thanks to Eldritch Blast. Really, Momo? But that wasn't even the fight I was thinking of. That fight just popped into my head. Because I remember it was like one of the first level 10 encounters you encounter when you're only like 5, 6, 7. And then you have the other one that's like the mound hole or whatever. That wasn't as bad. And I actually really like that one. It took me off guard, too. Moonrise Towers wasn't that bad. The normal Ketheric Thorm fight wasn't that bad. Everything in the mound hole wasn't that bad. Comparatively speaking, it was just Markle. Markle's the only one down there that was like extremely tough. Markle was like the first fight in this game where I felt like there was a giant spike and like difficulty. And even then, that's just blowing it out of proportions. But that was also just because of Bone Chill. But the game gives you Dame Aelin to balance that out, so I enjoy that. Maybe it is just that level 10 giant with a bunch of minions in Shar's temple. That is what I'm thinking of. Alongside the House of Grief Shar fight and Iron Thrones. Because it's like the Lorowican fight was challenging and there's a lot of strategy to go into that fight. But it just wasn't to my everything Darth God like. It wasn't like Iron Thrones annoying. Or the Shar Temple annoying, where, you know, I only have one person standing. The Lorowican fight and the Nine Thieves Guild Hall fight, they had the same issue, where I had to redo the fight several times because I wanted to keep a person alive. I wanted to keep Dame Aelin alive. I wanted to keep Keen Nine Keen? Nine Fingers, or is it Nine Fingers Keen? Whatever, the leader of the guild. I wanted to keep her alive. I wanted to keep Dame Aelin alive, and they both just kept dying. So I kept having to restart the fight to keep them alive. So it's like I enjoyed both of those fights, and Lorowican's was tougher for some reason. It's like, Dame Aelin, I thought you were like the daughter of a god. Why are you so easy to go down? The entryway to Orin's chambers, the Ball Temple, where that one dude's like standing up there and you gotta chase him and kill him. Dude, that fight took me off guard so bad when I split my party up to chase him down and then like cut him off. But then he just cowers in a corner at the door, and you get overwhelmed by all the enemies just joining the fight. Yeah, I made that fight so much harder than it needed to be. Period. Because that fight, when I did the second time, I did it so much better, and it wasn't as bad, and I enjoyed that fight. I actually really enjoyed that fight. But I did not enjoy it my first attempt when I was just ambushed and overwhelmed. I'm trying to think of what that original third fight was. Because there's no way... Like, Iron Thrones and the Shar House of Grief, for sure, were the two that were on my mind. Because Orin and Gortash aren't it. They both have their challenging moments, but neither of them made me want to go into a rage quite like Iron Throne and Shar Temple, or the House of Grief. Shar Encounter did. Because I think the House of Grief Shar Encounter is the angriest I got in this entire game, and I got so defeated. Like, I progressively got saltier as that fight went on, because I just felt defeated. I didn't feel like there was any way I could win the fight. And then somehow I won the fight. And I was like, okay. Dust that off. Oh, I know what it is. I know what that third fight was. Ansur, the dragon. Ansur, the dragon. Hey, Matthias. Bit better than a cow this time, don't you think? What? But yeah, no. It was Ansur, the dragon. Those three. The House of Grief Shar Encounter, Iron Thrones, and Ansur, the dragon. Which, by the way, Ansur the Dragon, probably my favorite boss in the entire game. Absolutely, hands down. You're just fighting an electrified dragon with 2 water myrmidons? Yeah. Sign me up. That's a good fight. You got a tough enemy, and he's not overwhelming you with the enemies. Like, the final boss, not even the final boss, the final encounter, right, on the Nautiloid, not even at the Nautiloid, on the tower, right? With the red dragon and the nether brain. The reason why that fight wasn't as challenging, one, you get all the help if you choose it. 2, like, I'm not saying that fight can't be hard, but why it isn't as challenging as Ansur, the Ansur fight, because they're both level 17 dragons there. But one has a lot more people helping him than the other one. Because, like, with the red dragon, you have 4 kind of weird people. Thralls, I think is what he called them. And all 4 thralls are like mere classes to what you have. So, like, they had a rogue assassin who just turned invisible the entire time and threw sleep potions at people, which I thought was weird. You had a barbarian, you had the cleric who went down first, I believe, and you had like the spell plague or whatever it was called. That was Gale, the wizard. I felt like that one was the most. That was the one that I had to kill first. Somebody killed the cleric first, but the mage was going to be the most annoying to deal with because of counterspell. Because he counterspelled someone, I was like, oh yeah, I gotta get rid of that. I gotta get rid of him. And then the barbarian, I was just gonna let the barbarian do what the barbarian did. They weren't doing anything extremely, like, nerve-wracking. They just stayed by the dragon the entire time. Same thing with the assassin. But yeah, all the help that you can summon in that fight is what makes it not as hard. and you don't have to kill them. But aside from the dragon and like the 4 thralls that are mirrors of your party, you have the 4 mind flayers as well, the 4 arcanist mind flayers. And then in 4 turns a nautiloid is coming, and who knows what that nautiloid ship would have done. I don't know. I defeated the Netherbrain before it came. Because you have to get whoever your Netherstone holder is, whether it's you, Karlach as the Mind Flayer, you have the Emperor Mind Flayer, or Orpheus as the Mind Flayer. Whoever your Mind Flayer is with the Netherstones is the person that has to get to the crown and do the whatever concentration thing with. And then after a turn, it opens and you can fight the Netherbrain. Our 2.5 million early access players. And you for playing this game, supporting us and sharing our love for classic RPGs. So that's why that fight isn't as bad, because you don't have to defeat the dragon. It's a race against time. You have to get to the portal and open it and destroy the Netherbrain.
There thou art, the dead 3.
Weathers?
Thy faces gods, thy actions barely worthy of the name. Didst truly believe thy ploy would succeed? Didst believe I would not notice? Thou soughtst to bolster thy strength by taking away the souls of mortals. But souls vanish when their hosts become mind flayers. Didst think the other gods would not notice? Gods thou may be, yet thou hast proven thyself fools, everyone. The supplication of Bane, the whimper of Baal, the death mule of Merkel, felled by mortals. I overestimated thee. They did not. Vermin, away. Thou wilt trouble us no more.
I was kind of expecting it to like fade away off the wall. Does Withers know more than he leads on? I mean, it is pretty intense what he just said. He basically just chastised all 3 of the death gods and belittled them. Interesting. That is curious right there. Yeah, 48 minutes, that's what I thought. But yeah, so those are my thoughts and my opinions on like the most challenging fights I think were in the game. We're definitely Ansur, and the reason why his fight is more challenging than the final one is because the final one's more of a race, right? They want to rush you to get to the portal, open it, get to the Netherbrain as fast as possible, and beat it. Because technically, once you reach the Netherbrain, you literally do only have 5 turns to kill him. The reach the portal is like the nautiloid ship will show up after 4 turns, regardless of what's happening. I just so happened to beat the game and beat the fight right as it showed up, essentially. But yeah, it's because it's more of a race than it has actually a defeat all. Even though I defeated most. I defeated the 4 thralls. I defeated at least 3 of the 4 arcanist mind flayers. Which just really leaves the dragon, whatever was coming on that nautiloid ship, and I defeated the Netherbrain. But because you have so much help, and it's more of a race than a conquest, it's not as tough as the Insur, in my opinion. So the Insur fight, the House of Grief, Shar encounter, and the Iron Thrones are definitely what I consider the three most challenging encounters in the game that I experienced. Everything else, sure, there was some challenging stuff. Gortash was challenging. Merkel was challenging. Loroakan could be challenging, mostly if you just want to keep Daemalin alive. Orin wasn't really challenging, but it was a fun fight regardless. And then, yeah, there was other like the encounter in the Shard Temple with that level 10 beast and like the 15 other sub frog people he has with him. That was overwhelming. But and then I went over my thoughts on all the companions. Shadowheart being my favorite, with Karlach and Astarion behind them. I didn't go over companion quests. Will's ends with the Answer fight, so his is already goated. Because that's one of my favorite fights in the game anyway. Shadowheart's ended with the House of Grief Shar encounter, which was super intense, but it was a super well done thing. And so was Astarion's with, oh yeah, that was another one. Forgot about that. Freaking, oh, what's his name? I forgot his name. It's the stupid vampire. I can't remember his name. But Astarion's master, that fight was stupid annoying if you got paralyzed a lot. Otherwise, it's not that bad. Still challenging into its own right, but not as bad. As long as you can avoid getting petrified and getting feared, you're good in that fight. But if you don't have a counter against petrification, that fight's going to be a bitch. Definitely one of those honorable mentions, but definitely not tougher than the top three I named. For me, in my experience. Iron Thrones could be a lot easier, like I said, if you chose to keep the will. Keep the pack, then she would help you save Duke Ravengard, because that was the thing. Keep Will in the pack to save Duke, or break the pack and doom Duke. And we kind of went over my ending and what I felt was kind of left hanging, that I wish I could have seen like a more, like I wish I could have seen a cooler outcome cutscene, like with what we got with Will and Karlach, with Astarion or their Shadowheart. But we didn't. Or Gale, because Gale's quest kind of ends on a cliffhanger. His quest line was to give the crown of Karsus to Mystra. We don't see that. We just hear what his plans are. So that's weird. Either way, that is Baldur's Gate 3. My first single playthrough. It was an enjoyable game. Definitely worthy of Game of the Year if it wins it. It's phenomenal. It's got some rough bugs, but even as rough as it can get sometimes in that last chapter, that last little mission, because that last mission was bugged to hell, dude. So much dialogue disappears, so much audio disappears from the combat. It's really messed up. Like, the audio doesn't get fixed, like in the dialogue and stuff, until you reach like the final battle. Like, from the moment you're like, yeah, let's go into the chasm, up until you climb, or up until after you climb. I don't even say it's after you climb the brainstem. It's almost as the battle begins, does like the audio start, like the audio issue disappear, like it's fine again. But from like the moment you start the final mission to the moment you reach like the beginning of the the last battle, there was a lot of moments in between where the audio is very buggy, and I'm glad it was just the audio. I would rather it be the audio than something gameplay related, that's for sure. But until then, until the next time, what's insane is that this is probably going to be uploading in January of 2024, because Cazador, yeah, that's the guy's name, because the Cazador fight is the next video I have to schedule, and I've got to edit it for reasons before I can schedule it, and that's like going to be like December 11th. So yeah, and then I know Ansor, the dragon fight, will be uploaded on Christmas Day. So yeah, this will definitely be uploading in January of 2024. That's insane, especially considering it's not even December yet. By the way, that is Baldur Gates 3. I hope you enjoyed my snippets and clips of battles. It's something I just decided like really early on into Act 1. As you can tell, it was with the Drior fight. Because we killed him in Minthara, but not the other one, because I had already killed Priestess Gut before him, I'm pretty sure. Or did we do it? No, I didn't record that. But it was like right around there. He was like the first one where I was like, maybe I could. So I'd already done like the phase spiders, I'm pretty sure. And some of like the earlier fights and like the prologue and stuff. But, you know, I got to show some of those fights with my brother-in-law, like playing with him and my sister. But like I said, that was Baldur Gates 3. Really enjoyed it. I definitely highly recommend this game to anybody who loves RPGs, Dungeons and Dragons, and tactical strategy games, because that's what this game's combat is. Ta-ta for now.